In January 1919, the city of Boston was struck by the most bizarre disaster in history. A massive, 50-foot steel tank stood looming over the busy North End neighborhood. Inside, it held over 2 million gallons of thick, sticky, dark molasses. The sweet syrup was being hoarded by a greedy company to make rum and munitions. But the giant tank was cheaply built and dangerously unstable from the very beginning. Locals passing by constantly heard the heavy steel plates groaning and aggressively creaking. Thick dark brown syrup was actively leaking and dripping slowly from the weak seams. Instead of fixing it, the company simply painted the entire tank brown to hide the leaks. It was a ticking time bomb, waiting for the absolute worst possible moment to explode. Suddenly, around noon on an unusually warm winter day, the internal pressure violently spiked. The metal groaned, and with a sound like a machine gun, the heavy steel rivets popped. The giant tank violently exploded, tearing its thick steel walls apart in a split second. A terrifying 25-foot wave of dark, sticky syrup was unleashed onto the cobblestone streets. It crashed through the dense city blocks at an incredible 35 miles per hour. The sheer force of the heavy wave instantly destroyed brick buildings and snapped solid metal. An entire elevated steel train track was crushed and twisted like a cheap plastic toy. People, horses, and wagons were instantly swallowed by the fast-moving, sticky tsunami. The dark sludge was so thick and heavy that swimming out of it was completely impossible. The more the victims struggled to escape, the deeper they sank into the dark trap. Panicked rescue workers rushed in, only to find themselves stuck waist-deep in the cooling mess. As the sun went down, the warm molasses cooled and hardened, trapping people like cement. The entire neighborhood looked like a surreal, post-apocalyptic wasteland, covered in brown mud. It took brave volunteers several agonizing days to finally pull the survivors from the wreckage. The cleanup effort was a nightmare, requiring weeks of washing the streets with salt water. 21 people tragically lost their lives to a rushing wave of baking syrup. Over 150 citizens were severely injured in the horrific industrial collapse. The disaster forced a massive change in corporate safety and modern engineering laws forever. The company was finally held responsible, paying millions to the devastated local families. Today, the area is fully rebuilt, a bustling modern neighborhood completely unaware of its past. But they say on hot summer days in Boston, you can still smell the deadly, sweet scent.